Remember all the hype around ChatGPT a while back? Like it was
Yeah.
going to change everything. Well, buckle up because Meta's gone and thrown their hat in the ring with SpiritLM.
And the thing that's got me hooked is that SpiritLM isn't just about text, reading it like we've seen before. It's like they added this whole other
It's
dimension.
listening, right? Not just reading words off a screen. Our research is comparing it to ChatGPT, and that seems to be the big what sets it apart.
It's a huge difference, yeah. Think about it. You're talking to your computer, and it can actually pick up on, I don't know, your tone. Like if you're stressed, your voice gets a little higher, right? Or those times you hesitate because you're not quite sure what to say.
ChatGPT misses all that, right?
And like reading a transcript versus listening to the conversation.
Okay, that's wow. I'm already thinking about all the times my emails get misinterpreted because of tone. This could be huge.
Right.
But one thing the article mentions is that Meta made SpiritLM open source. Is that a good thing?
That is the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And honestly, the experts we looked at, they don't even agree. On one hand, you got what happened with Linux. Went from a tiny project to basically running, well, a ton of systems.
Yeah.
'Cause anyone can work on it.
Yeah, but AI feels different. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
The chance of someone using it for, well, bad things is a whole different story.
Right.
With ChatGPT, OpenAI's keep it pretty close to the chest.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, it's not as transparent, but at least they can control it.
It's like, what do you value more? Speed or control? Okay, so that's something to watch. But let's talk about this whole emotion thing. One article said ChatGPT can actually understand emotions in text. How is that even possible?
Right. So there was this study and found that ChatGPT could actually beat humans at recognizing emotions in writing.
Get out.
It blew me away, honestly.
No kidding.
But there's a catch.
There's always a catch.
Yeah,
Figure-
ChatGPT's not feeling emotions. It's just really good at seeing the pattern of how we use language when we're feeling them. Like imagine the best actor ever. They can convince you they're feeling something they're not.
That's both amazing and kind of creepy all at the same time.
Right.
Okay, so does that mean that because SpiritLM is listening to voices, it might actually be able to get closer to real emotions? Like feel them?
See, that's the question, isn't it? And it's a tough one. It's like we're stepping into philosophy here. Like, what does it even mean for AI to feel? We know it can look at tone, pitch, even when you pause, but does that mean it gets it? Emotionally. We just don't know yet.
So no handing our emotional baggage over to robots just yet.
Not quite.
Before we, I don't know, get too deep into that, I wanted to go back to something else. You know how with ChatGPT you can kind of make it your own? Adjust the tone, stuff like that?
Yeah, good point.
Like even what it calls you. Personalization, that's a big deal these days.
And honestly, with SpiritLM, that's one of the big unknowns right now. Can you do that? How much can you tailor it? We just don't know.
So no word yet on if it can, like tell jokes or speak in limericks or something.
The research hasn't gone there yet.
Well, hopefully we'll find out. But let's step back a bit here.
Okay.
This isn't just about building a chatbot that's, I don't know, slightly better.
Right.
If SpiritLM can do even half of what it seems like it might, we could be talking about some major changes.
Oh, absolutely. The potential here is huge.
Okay, so paint me a picture. What does a world with SpiritLM even look like? So we're talking about like a whole new world of communication here. What actually changes when something like SpiritLM is, as normal as like hopping on a video call?
Well, for starters, conversations would just have so much more, I don't know, nuance.
Yeah.
Like imagine talking to your computer the same way you'd talk to a coworker, where they actually get your tone, not just the words themselves.
Okay, yeah.
In fact, some of the research even suggests that down the line, things like virtual meetings, online classes, all that could be totally different.
Okay, I was just thinking about those awful work video calls where you can never quite tell if someone's agreeing with you or about to like launch into a presentation.
Right. It could totally get rid of all that ambiguity we deal with online, And it's not even just about like being practical. Think about the creative side.
Okay, yeah.
Movies, video games, whatever, where the characters are actually reacting to how you're feeling in real time.
Yes.
Like you're actually in the story.
Hold on, my mind is kind of blown. Okay, so I'm playing a game, right? And the characters can tell if I'm getting frustrated and maybe, I don't know, go a little easy on me.
See?
Exactly. That's next level. Or imagine your music streaming app is making playlists based on your mood, not just what you listened to last week. The possibilities are kind of endless.
Okay, those mood playlists, I need that in my life like yesterday.
Yeah.
But, I mean, some things seem like they change more than others. Were there any industries that the articles focused on?
Yeah, customer service came up a lot. Imagine calling customer service and, well, not wanting to pull your hair out.
Oh, tell me more. Like, instead of getting stuck in that robot voice menu hell, you get a real person who not only understands your problem, but they can hear how frustrated you are.
That would be life-changing, seriously. No more repeating yourself 100 times.
Exactly.
Wow.
And it's not even just about, like, fixing what we have now. Spirit LM could create whole new things. Like, what about an AI companion that gives you advice or, I don't know, cheers you up, but it's tailored to you?
Okay, so we're talking like AI therapists
Like,
and cheerleaders.
right. Though that does make you think about the downsides, right? What about people's jobs? If AI can do all this, does that mean we're all out of work?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Definitely. And it was something the articles talked about. Like any new technology, there's always that risk of, jobs changing.
Right.
But it's also important to remember that new technology makes new jobs too.
So it's not just as simple as, like, robots taking over.
Nope. Think about all the people it'll take to build these systems, to train them, to keep them running, or even the people who have to come up with rules for how it's used, so it's ethical and all that. And we'll still need people to help everyone else adjust to this new world. That's a lot.
That's a good point. It's more like working with machines, not getting replaced by them.
Exactly.
But going back to the ethical use thing, we were talking about SpiritLM being open source, and there were different opinions on if that's a good thing. Can we unpack that a bit?
Sure. So a lot of the researchers who like the open source idea, they're all about the potential for, well, for things to move quickly. Like if everyone has the code, more people can work on it, which means it gets better faster and, well, we get more uses for it.
So it's like crowdsourcing the future of AI.
Exactly. But there's the other side of the coin. There are people who are, let's say, a bit more cautious about just giving this powerful technology to anyone who wants it.
Like giving a teenager the keys to a Ferrari?
Huh. It's a little more complicated than that, but I get your point.
Okay.
They're worried about, people using it for bad stuff, like making even more convincing spam or those deep fakes that can spread misinformation, that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, both sides make sense. More people working on it could be amazing, but it also means it's more likely someone uses it for, well, not so amazing reasons.
That's that classic problem, right? Every time something new comes along, it's like, how much freedom do we give it versus how much control do we keep? And is there even a right answer to that?
That's a tough one. But speaking of dilemmas, we were talking about personalization before. With ChatGPT, you can kind of, I don't know, tweak how it acts a little, its tone, that kind of thing. Any idea if Spirit LM will be like that?
That's the million-dollar question, and sadly, we just don't have the answer yet. The research we've got doesn't really get into those nitty-gritty details about, what you can customize and how much.
So I guess we'll have to wait and see if we can, like, give our Spirit LM assistants little hats and stuff.
Maybe not hats, but it does make you think, what will people want? Once this is actually a thing we're using every day, what will it feel like to use it?
That's a good question. But we were talking about the personalization stuff, like the tone and all. Do you think people will want it to sound, I don't know, exactly like a person? Or will that be, like, too weird?
That is a good question, and I'm not sure there's a right answer.
Mm-hmm.
On the one hand, we love that, like, human touch.
Right.
But then there's that whole uncanny valley thing.
For anyone who doesn't know, Uncanny Valley is like when something looks almost real but not quite, gives you the creeps.
Exactly. And it's not just about looks either. It can be how something sounds, how it acts too. So it'll be interesting to see if they can make it, feel familiar without being creepy.
Like AI Goldilocks, not too human, not too robot, just,
Yeah.
right?
Huh. Perfect way to put it. But going back to what you said earlier about the big picture, I think we got to remember this isn't just about making things easier or more fun.
Okay, bring us back down to earth then. What are the really big things we should be thinking about with all this?
Well, it kind of makes you rethink what it even means to be human, doesn't it?
Wow.
If a machine can understand our feelings, react to them, does that mean it can have them? And if it can, well, then what makes us special?
Okay, those are some seriously deep questions right there. It's like we could be changing what it means to be human at the exact same time that we're building a whole new kind of intelligence.
Exactly. And that means we got to be careful, right? We have to make sure that all this amazing technology actually makes things better for everyone, not just a few people.
Lots to think about, but so important. We've gone pretty deep in this deep dive from the nuts and bolts of how Spirit LM works all the way to what it could mean for the world.
Quite a journey, and really, we're just getting started.
That's what makes it so exciting. But if there's one thing I hope everyone listening takes away, it's that the future of AI, it's not something being done to us. We're all creating this together.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's on all of us to learn about this stuff, to ask questions, and to talk about what kind of future we want.
Well said. So everyone listening, stay curious out there. And remember, sometimes the deeper you dive, the bigger the questions get.